That
Disappear the chat.
Yes.
Yes. So, hi everybody. I would like to greet all of you in the second session of our digital fifth Global Sustainable Fashion Week. I kindly ask Muhammad Fawad Nouri, who will be our moderator, to start to moderate this session and be so kind to tell some technical details because maybe not everybody is familiar with the Zoom. Hi.
Hi, thank you very much, Gabby, for giving me the opportunity to be a host of this session. And I welcome all of you on behalf of Global Sustainable Fashion Week. First of all, thank you very much for joining us. And this is a great time for all of us that we are gathering together via video link, and we are sharing our experiences, our knowledges. And it was a very great experience yesterday, and also earlier session was very excellent by the presenters. So I welcome you all. So I'm the first presenter as well, so I will share a screen with you. So my presentation will be there.
Intézi. Nézd meg, ilyen szép kis pirosot. A sötét, ez a szemüveg.
Take a little time.
It's a good photo of you.
So you have seen my screen? You got the presentation?
Yes,
But
the
no.
screen sharing is okay, but it is an empty screen of your phone. New channel sent to, that's all what we can see now. Now you are going to create a name for this channel.
Okay, what's the channel? That's the presentation. We have to open it.
So during your work, I would like to inform those who have not seen the yesterday's video session. So you have to see again. So I will give all the links, and there is a possibility
As I told before on my YouTube channel, these all things are available.
But in our social media, I give the information. There is a Hungarian session and also an English spoken session, and you are welcome to watch again, or who had no opportunity yesterday could watch again.
Now we can see you.
So you have seen my presentation. I welcome you all. My name is Muhammad Fawad Nouri. I'm an international fashion professional. So many of you know me very well. So start with the presentation with a very nice quote with a very great American author, that the capacity to learn is a gift, the ability to learn is a skill, and the willingness to learn is a choice. This is a very inspiring quote by Brian Herbert. And now this is the current situation, the condition of our world is the willingness to choose the smart ways to communicate with each other, to share knowledge, to care each other. So
sorry, we cannot see the presentation. We can see only your picture, which is nice, but I think your intention was to show us the presentation.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'll share that document with you guys, I think, but it's on. So now it's fine.
That's okay. Yes.
Okay. So importance of digital activities, upgrade sustainability and fashion. My presentation is not that much that's a very crisp and very sharp presentation. So I just want to highlight some very simple points, how we can use the digital technology and how it can be work in sustainable fashion. It's not just about the idea, it's about making ideas happen, do it. It's a very inspiring image, which I've added in my presentation. A little introduction about what I have to talk about. Under current situation, we have to use the smart ways to communicate because communication is the very important tool, and we have to create many application already we have, and we are willing to communicate with each other with a nice and very crisp manner. Create awareness, share knowledge, interactive session, live or recorded, as we are doing right now. And yesterday was a recorded sessions. Control paper waste, that is also a very important agenda for sustainable fashion and other environmental issues and many more. But how? That's the smart way. The digital way, we can communicate with each other, we can link with, we can share knowledge, experiences, we can learn, we can talk, we can see each other, and we can enjoy each other. As Olga earlier said, that we can celebrate our success as well, so we can create a party as well.
Mm-hmm.
So major benefits, which is very important to highlight here: direct access to the target audience or presenters. It can be a fast delivery, and it's very much important to lower the cost. So this is a major issue, and multiple options and most effective learning and sharing options, and low environmental effect is a main objective. Secure database, we can record all and each and everything in our database, and it's easily transferable with internet facilities. Areas to focus, it's first way is the communication. As earlier Rosanna highlighted this point in her presentation, that digital communication, emails, calls, audios and videos and text, many more. And what are the benefits? It's easy and safe. It's maintain record, develop database, group discussion, and quick decisions. We can take quick decisions online. So use digital process. What fast communication? Why we use that? It's efficient and time saver. Less investment and saving of the money. Increase capability and skills as well by learning digital activities. We have very good platforms, Zoom, that we are using right now as well. We have Skype, LifeSize, Cisco Web, and many other more. We can use that technology as well. So how technology shaping the future of sustainable fashion? Another very beautiful quote by Ursula, the fashion revolutionary. It isn't enough just looking for the quality in the product we buy. We must ensure that there is a quality in the lives of the people who take them. And it's very inspiring quote that's added in presentation. That's a very inspiring technology-based image, innovation and technology in fashion. And the image is very much highlighted the area of fashion, technology, and digital world. Some facts I want to share this, that the world has been already lost 80% of its forest, and in the next 30 years, as many as 1/5 of all species alive today will become extinct. So the need for sustainable fashion is bigger than ever. I will share some beautiful agendas and the future trends. What does technology have to do with moving fashion forward? So technology innovation is essential for the development of a circular business model. It can create very fine and circular economy models. It drives new communication channels, processes, ways of working, and enables better use of resources and economic growth. Technology disruption fuels innovation and creates sustainable value. So I want to share some mega trends of 2020 and future, the incoming trends with to expect in 2020. There are 5 mega trends moving both sustainable fashion and fashion technology. They are the major trends, which one is power of nature. where nature substance and organic process, making clothes of everything, starting with citrus fruits to cow manure. As many of you know that milk fiber is already there, and this is the start of the sustainable power of nature. Connected clothes, digital clothes that will be enable personalization and life tracking. Uh, those who visited last year our Global Sustainable Fashion Week, I presented one outfit that is live tracking. Gabby knows very well that small device in that outfit, and we can track a person who's wearing that. So that is also a trend in future as well. Solar power fashion, then 3D printed fashion, bacterial textile and dyes, and these are the major fashion technology trends in future. So I'm going to be end as time constraint as well. And thanks for watching. I don't want to say anything more about this. Just want to share that the link which you are I've presented in my slide, that is a very good article published by eluxmagazine.com, and it's and fashion technology meets sustainable fashion. It's really worth reading it. I wish you to please click the link, or you can copy or paste, and you can read an article. It's really very informative. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Harald.
Thank you. Thank you. So now,
Monica
Chaudhary. Where is she now? I have to.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Monica, but we can't see you. Where are you? Where's your video?
It's showing here that.
Let me check. Monica, a camera is on. Why don't you please check your settings, Monica?
Yeah, I'm doing that. Just give me a moment. I'm also
okay. I'll just give an introduction about Monica Chaudhary, designer and a lecturer at Lee Mark School of Art and Design, Mumbai, India, and she will be talking. No, Monica, you are not showing. Have you checked that earlier? It's working fine.
Yeah, that was fine.
Can you share your screen?
We could see her. So
yes,
it works.
Yeah, you can start your presentation by sharing your screen first. And the topic which she will be is eco-friendly printing of textile substrates by flower and leaves imprint technology. Please, Monica, you can start. Please share your screen.
Yeah.
Maybe she can share the screen, but we do not see her.
Screen is visible. I had shared my screen. Is it visible?
Just share your presentation. Yeah, it's not visible. I don't think so. What happened to it?
If we hear her voice.
I had shared the screen. Is it visible? Hello. Is it visible?
No, it's not visible.
Now?
It's not visible.
It's working.
It's working.
It's working.
Oh, that's great now. Now it's fine.
Okay. Hello, everyone. And myself, Monica Chaudhary. I think Fawad had given a very good introduction. So I would start my presentation with the Indian mantra that we usually do before doing anything good or for the goodwill of all present here during this COVID-19. That is, we wish Lord Ganesha. You must be knowing Lord Ganesha. So here it is, Om Gan Ganpataya Nama. Means, may God, Lord Ganesha shower his blessing on all of you and be safe and healthy, everyone. So here I start my presentation. My presentation topic is eco-friendly printing of textile substrate by flower and leaf imprint technology. Actually, I'm pursuing my PhD on the same topic also. So basically, it's my research work which I had done so far. So yet some drawbacks, or you can say some limitations are also there, which I need. Yeah, is Monica is having Lord Ganesha. Thank you, Monica. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah. So coming back to the presentation. So this presentation I had prepared for the keeping in mind the sustainability. So it's not working. I don't know why it has stopped. Yeah. Can see the slide? Hello?
Yeah, yes, fine.
Yes.
Yes, it's fine.
Yeah.
You can start on.
Okay. So as we all know, the dyeing and printing is in itself, dyeing and printing is specifically in the fashion industry or the textile industry, they are the most polluting thing which we designers do, because not only in India but in other countries also, the main problem which occurs is the disposal of the dyes and the remaining of the dyes and the printing thing with the like the inkjet printing or any other printing process. Textile process, they use mainly toxic dyes or the chemical dyes, or the some uses natural dyes, but even with the natural dyes they use mordants, chemical mordants to fix that dye on the surface of the fabric. So again we are using somehow the other way the chemicals with the fabric. So they finally, when the printing, even the printed fabric, that has to be given the final rinse or something, that the chemicals we use to fix that natural print on the fabric again would be discharged in the water, or that water will again be joining the seas, ponds and the rivers, and again creating the water pollution. So basically my topic is all about the environmental friendly and sustainable printing process. So I should come straight to my technique, what I had done. So as earlier, I had found that while doing the research for this, my imprint technology, I had read many of the articles which had been published earlier also regarding this printing with the leaves and the flowers and the natural resources. That is, the people used to put the these leaves, flowers, and other things, and like the nails, and they called it the natural. Like the leaves, when they get during the rainy season, they get stuck on the surface. They leave the impression on the surface, either it's a road or it's a block or anything. But with the fabric, these kind of practices are done, sandwiching the leaves in between the fabrics and leaving them with the iron solution or the other chemicals like vinegar. So vinegar helps to discharge the natural pigment present in the leaf or something like that. But with that, as you can see the images, how the natural printing can be done with is practiced in the world with in form of dyes, or it's directly extracted from the flowers, or then the fabric is dyed, or it is sandwiched among the fabric. But sandwiching the flower and the leaf doesn't give the actual design, it only gives the color. That is the main thing which I would be focusing on through this presentation. Like in this image, you can see the flowers are put above the fabric, and the imprints are not so clear, as the color is only visible, or the flowers are tied with the fabric, giving it in a roll form, or these kind of prints can be obtained with this. But my objectives of the study is to print certain cellulosic and protein fabrics like khadi, cotton khadi, cambric, rayon, wool silk, and other protein fabrics. And besides that, printing can be easily obtained with any of the methods. But my main concern is to develop the good color fastness also, and using the natural mordants that could last up to 5 washes. I am using, and I had used only the natural mordants, and to give it a comparative study, what the result I had obtained with the different models during the printing process. And a comparative study also I had made between the pre-mordanting before doing the printing and post-mordanting after doing the printing. I had used mordants to fix the color on the fabric or the print on the fabric, the print I would be getting. And a comparative study between the color strength and the K-bias value for the mordant pre and post, because I want to make this studies for the exclusive clothing, because these kind of prints can be obtained only once at a time. It cannot be, or you can say, it cannot be used for the commercial production. Like a print can be printed again and again with the same thing, that you can understand with the upcoming slides. And besides that, I'm also trying to develop a machine for the mass production, which will help in the mass production, making it fast. But the limitation is that design could not be repeated with this. This is the every time you would be getting a new design. That depends on the placement of leaves and flowers you would be placing on the fabric. So this is again the literature review what I had done. Besides, in 2004, Canadian dye scholar Karen Link Kesselman, who coined the term eco dye and was monitored in an alternative natural dye process, and to be well known as the eco print artisans and author. Indian Flint 2008, Flint original inspiration was European folk tradition for dyeing eggs with plants. So keeping inspiration and taking inspiration from all these brilliant individuals, I had taken this topic to develop something new which can give a crisp, clear print with natural flowers. And I would be using before going to the leaf imprint, because many people get this question in this mind, that for doing this particular printing, even for the mass production or for your own production, you would be using so much of leaves and flowers, and you would be destroying the nature, taking so much of flowers. So I had decided that in India, in every morning, we Indians used to worship lords, going in temple. Even we offer them the garland. So I would be using those garland flowers to make this printing process go on, because I don't want to pluck fresh flowers for my printing specifically. So I would be using the already plucked up flowers and leaves, which are offered in church, in marriages, for decoration in marriages, in temples, and anywhere they are used, and then just thrown away as a dump or landfill. So I would be using those flowers, leaves, and this. So before doing this eco printing, I had made certain points which I had to keep in mind: the age and the part of the dye plant I would be using, the plant's growing condition, that because that would definitely help with the pigment present in the leaves and the flowers, that how much pigment content it has, the fiber selection, cellulosic or protein, I had chosen the both, and the pH level and the quality of water I had used during this process, and type of mordants, and time for giving them the time for them means the mordant to reset and for the resting. So I had mainly used these flowers during my research work. So basically these flowers I had used. So these are the pictures. But I had choosing the flowers also, I had kept in mind that I may not be using any of the poisonous weed or any flowers during this process. So what I had done, I had taken the variety of shapes of the flowers and leaves, and then take them under the fold of the fabric and secured that flower with the blotting paper to avoid excess discharge of the pigment, and I applied a required pressure on that. Sorry, I would not be revealing that how I had applied the pressure on that flowers, because yet I had to file the patent for the same. And once the patent is filed, then definitely we'll let you know the technique what I had used to apply pressure on the plants and leaves and flowers to give that the desired effect on the fabric. So let me show you my results. Actually, these prints are having the real leaves by their side also. If you can see, these leaves I had used and get that. So my whole idea is to place leaves, flowers on the fabric itself in such an arrangement that they can create a print in itself, a natural print having fine details also. If you can see the middle picture. Hello?
Yes, yes, we all are hearing.
Okay. If you see the middle picture, it has a long leaf. It's a leaf of neem tree. So you can see the details in the print itself. It is given naturally. I hadn't used any brush or any kind of any touch up to give it. It's natural. So while doing the digital printing, we have to give the print every fine detail, and that it is printed. But here I am using natural resources, the way the flowers are naturally beautiful, and getting the same replica on the fabric. Although some flowers like hibiscus, because the leaves are too sensitive, it got crushed sometime. But many times it has given the fine results also. So here the comparative study comes with the without mordant, with mordants, and using the two different mordants. So these are the samples. This is the fabric casement fabric colored. It's colored casement fabric I had used. It's a direct printing without any pre and post mordanting. On different fabrics, how the result came, it is that. So,
Monica, you have only 2 minutes more. You just summarize your presentation.
Yeah. And this summary is for the washed and unwashed samples. These are the washed samples. I had used pre-mordanting on that. After doing the pre-mordanting, I had washed them. So with the modern, natural mordants also, what I had used two kind of mordants. Some mordants, they change the color of the leaves, like the green color turns to olive green, and the orange turns to bright yellow orange, and the blue turns to purple. But some of the mordants, they brighten up the color so much that it comes to next level, very bright in itself. And this is the post-mordanting result with the two different mordants. Like if you can see sample one, this mordant brightens the colors, and this mordant brightens up the colors. Mordant 2, it has brightened the colors in every print. So basically, the print depends on the chlorophyll present in the leaves and the flowers, and how they react with the mordant used, and plus the resting time for the printing which I had given. It's not like that just apply pressure and remove. It can sometimes hamper your printing process. And the future scope is that once I would get the 10 washes or 5 washes for color fastness for the same, then definitely would be working on with the mordants I was using. And secondly, I was working on the machine also to make it a little commercial, so that like the laborious work or the traditionally the hand printing is done with block printing or screen printing, that can be they are time consuming. But with this machine, this printing technique I am working on, that would be not that much of time consuming like block printing and other printing processes are. So working on that. Thank you so much for giving me time.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Monica.
you so much.
Thank you very much. We have some questions on chat area, so you can read it from there and you can answer it. Because we have a short of time, so we have lots of presentation. So we can question and answer session we will be do on the chat session. Thank you, Monica. Thank you for the nice presentation and very good for healthy for everybody because seeing the flowers and the leaves and it's colorful thing. Now,
Thank you. Thank
like
you so much.
to invite one of another presenter from America, New York, Analia. Can you, Monica, please, can you
Yes.
back to the
Sure.
off your screen sharing? Yeah.
It's not going. I had already stopped this.
On the bottom.
Okay, I'll cancel. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll cancel from here. Yeah,
it's
it's
done
done
now.
now. Yeah. So I would like to invite Analia Paston, Executive Director of Smartly Social Enterprises on the SDGs New York. So please welcome. And
hi, hello.
Hi, how are
hello,
you?
everyone. Very,
Thanks
very
for
glad
coming.
to be here.
Yeah,
hi, Gabriela.
Yeah, so all participants are mute. So you can just start your presentation by sharing your screen. So question and answer session will be on the chat box. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. I will be doing my presentation with Evangelina Colli. She's in Buenos Aires. So I'm going to start and then I'm going to share my time with her and then I'm going back. So okay. I'm very glad to be here. I'm from Argentina, but I'm based in New York. And in Smartly, there is a social enterprise leading the way of communicating and localizing the Sustainable Development Goals in Latin America and beyond. We are very glad to be in this platform with all of you. And we would like to share our experience in Latin America, how we are working the sustainable fashion, especially through public policy and legislation. So we are working since last year in a platform, Ibero-American platform of sustainable entrepreneurship that it's a kind of group of people, designers, policymakers, legislators, that they are commitment with in terms of climate change and doing something and produce and consume in a different way. And through this platform, we are working and localizing the Sustainable Development Goals in all the actions that these sustainable entrepreneurs are working. And especially we are working in sustainable fashion. And we did an event in Mexico last year with an important sustainable designers from our region. And that experience that give us a lot of approach of what the sector is needing in terms of public policy and legislation. Evangelina Colli, who is my colleague from Argentina, she has more than 30 years of experience at the National Parliament of Argentina, and also she has been working at the Agency of Agriculture of the United Nations for Latin America. So I would like to give her now if she can share us the experience of what we are doing through public policy. Evangelina.
Is she here?
Yeah, she's here.
But it's not showing
Evangelina,
us to start the video.
Listen me? Yeah?
Yes.
Hi. The 2030 Agenda is the new social contract, and the 70 SDG are a guide to legislators at the local level thinking and in global level. And those contribute to the local development with promotion of root. This is very important for us. Localizing the SDG in public policies and legislation presents a local challenge in the global opportunity of optimizing resource and making efforts of a sustainable local development in which the people have the possibility to choose where they live, study, and produce in the birthplace. The new urban agenda guides us to promote the right to the city with people-centered development, and is inspired by the SDGs to reach fairer, surer, and more resilient cities. Public policies on sustainable fashion must contain and promote the entire value chain, that this innovation include from the production to the sustainable raw material to the sales and marketing. Promoting the development of sustainable and health textile industry for the user of the garment and the parties involved in the process of manufacturing is key for us. Here, we are interested to incorporate the health concept for those who work with sustainable fashion, as it observed as an exclusive sustainable promotion for the consumer. And actually, when the raw material that is manipulated in the manufacturing of a product is sustainable, it impacts positively on the health of the who is working with that direct or indirect physical contact with say product. That is why also quote that importance of addressing on the SDG in especially SDG 3.9, who propose by 2030 reduce substantially the number of death, of illness from hazardous chemicals, pollution, contamination. In addition to the platform Sustainable Entrepreneurs, Smartly Social Entrepreneurship on the SDG promote the network of local parliament in SDG. This is a unique worldwide initiative that seeks to innovate from legislative field to be able to provide solution to the challenge that this particular sector presents. It promotes partnership of effective collaboration between parliamentarians and actors of sustainable fashion, so that it is incorporated from the legislation sustainability and the focus on SDG to fashion as well as to public policy. It should be noted that promoting sustainable fashion as an innovative and impacting industry that generates employment, production, and sustainable consumption is the way to achieve the sustainable development that is often postponed. Mission that we take as a shared responsibility and based in SDG 8. SDG 8 talk about in 2 points, 3 and 4. In general, promote policy for micro, small, and medium enterprise, and encourage decouple economic growth from environment degrade. We all have the responsibility and many times the possibility of changing the state of sin. When both aspects combine, embracing in agenda such as the SDG and sustainable development, drive the meaning of the action in more a noble way. And in a context of urgency of action to mitigate climate change, we cannot continue doing things as usual. Promoting sustainable fashion became a necessary condition for a good living. Thank you.
As Evangelina said, Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, are like hashtags in social media that allow us to work in public policy with the same global language. In terms of globalization, that is really important to make alliance partnerships in a faster way. And in terms of sustainable fashion, that allow us to work some specific SDGs like SDG 8, 12, 13, among others, that it shows how this specific sector of the industry is making a huge effort in terms of sustainability, in terms of sustainable development, and how the governments, through their parliaments, through their public policies, it cuts to show their commitment and boost this specific industry. That's how we are working in Latin America, proposing projects of law at the National Parliament of Argentina, Mexico, Ecuador about sustainable fashion, because we think that we can do a huge effort in terms of innovation through this sector. But if we don't have the specific legislative tools and the specific support from the governments, these efforts are in some way unprotected. So we need to work in terms of the institutionalization of this whole process. And well, we are a private sector, so we are proposing these sustainable actions through the governments in base of our experience, because we used to work in the government and at the national parliament too. So through that experience, we are making partnerships with the public policy, public makers and policymakers, among others. So we would like to be in contact with all of you, because we are trying to see what is happening around the globe about these sustainable fashion actions, and how you are making an effort locally, and how we can connect all of these actions globally. So we are very open to work with all of you and to share this experience. We are also preparing a book about sustainable entrepreneurship, entrepreneurs, and we are going to focus our work in sustainable fashion too, with a chapter with Dr. Lian and Dr. Gabriela. So all of you are invited to join us on this, because we would like to show that this is really happening, and we need to showcase that this is a high-level opportunity to work in a different way, and especially in this context that everything changed since a month ago. So we need to show that there are more opportunities since now on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Analia, and thanks for inviting all of us for this special cause. So this is Analia and Evangelina. Now I would like to invite Mariel, one of our very beautiful advisor and the founder of Slow Fashion World, Regional Director of Latin America for Global Sustainable Fashion Week. And Dominic Langer will accompany her for presentation. So please welcome, and please you can share your screen. Hi.
We'll be sharing the screen. So here we are. Not on the beginning, sorry. Here we go. So thank you, everybody. Now we're going to take you on the journey of empowering Latin American sustainable fashion into the digital world. My name is Maria Jumpa, and as mentioned, I'm the founder of the Slow Fashion World and also regional director for Latin America for Global Sustainable Fashion Week. In fact, together with Dominic, we have worked last year connecting and curating Latin American designers there. Domi?
Hello, everyone. I'm Dominic Langer. I'm public relations professional. And as Mariel was saying, since last year, I'm working with Slow Fashion World, and I have my platform for upcycling vintage clothes, which is Dominica Vintage.
Together at the Slow Fashion World with an international team who has been connected digitally for the past 2 to 3 years, we have created local and international connections with change makers around the world, where we connect bridges between Latin America, Europe, and the world through our open platform or community with more than 3,000 members, and also through the agency supporting entrepreneurs, fashion professionals, sustainable fashion brands, and everybody that wants to build a positive impact to grow together with tools and resources with our strategies in marketing, media, and communications. So what's going on with the slow fashion world? The slow fashion world right now at this moment wants to support you, wants to amplify those voices, wants to take action together. So this is why Domi and I are here to tell you a little bit more what is going on in Latin America.
Okay, so we identified three main things that are happening worldwide. So we feel there is this conscious awakening on the way we do business and the way we connect to nature. Also, there is more self-sustainability. People are needing to shift to what's available. And it's a kind of circular economy mindset because we are reusing, we are recycling. It's an emergency which brings new priorities and where people will have to spend with a purpose. And the third item that we found is that people are rediscovering and appreciating local made products, which are close to us, available, and which we can trust. As a result, we wanted to empower designers to reinvent themselves, to be creative, to find their brand vision, to find their brand voice, because it's the only way in which you can connect and empathize with your customers. We also thought about how would luxury, the concept of luxury, change into a more conscious, authentic, and exclusive product, not like we had before luxury, which was overproduced, but we find a connection with Latin America because of the handcrafted, made to last, noble fibers, respect for nature. There is connection and consciousness. So, Mariel.
Well, we decided that instead of bringing all the Latin American designers to Europe, we will bring them now all the stories digitally. This is why part of our content in the slow fashion world platform is the Stories for Impact. And we have asked 10 change makers how in Latin America they are perceiving the new wave in sustainability and the digital world. We started with our Peruvian change makers and ethical fashion designer, Cornelio Borda. They are suggesting that this mindset was always brought by the artisans and the indigenous communities. They've always been leading sustainability. So now we're taking back into those roots. And she says, as designers, they have a great opportunity in this mindset, in this change. They need to think and reevaluate the DNA of their brands in order to create new collaborations. And together with this technology and the digital transformation, we will be able to survive as conscious creatives. Another one is the fantastic Carla Busularo. She's also coming from Argentina, like Domi, and she's a great designer, artist, and creative thinker. Together, we were discussing about what could be the next shift for Latin America, and she was talking about reinventing themselves, focusing more now than ever on creativity and prevailing the art of creation. So she is more focusing also on cherishing local products and more than ever, remind ourselves that the greatest treasures that we own are the ones that we find in our homes. And this is the shift of consciousness that Domi was talking about. Bringing back on what we use and not only thinking about artisan value, but also on the other type of materials and values that Latin America has to offer. Carola Solis. She is the founder of an amazing movement called the Global Dress Movement. She talks about the way we dress as a way of expression, empowerment, and love. One of the scarves that I'm wearing is woman and peace and love. She thinks about the conscious nature. She went back to the region in Peru and lives in the nature in order to go back, rethink, and connect with this change. She is bringing digitally conscious conversations through her Instagram page, and she is also doing a conscious nature journal where she says, it is time to definitely and accurately learn to live more with less. Her motto is local identity with universal soul. Now we have one of our team members, and also she's a digital communication strategist we're working with, is Leslie Palacios from Peru. We asked her what is her perspective as a digital activist and professional, and she says the key of the future in fashion is to prevent sustainability. Creativity is the resource, and Peru has many resources and talents to provide. Digital platforms will be a basic and a main asset to promote Latin American culture, and not only Latin America, but everybody that is involved in sustainability, in consciousness, innovation, and diversity. So she is also part of the art industry. So she is combining both art and sustainability with her movement called Always in Movement. Victoria Salom, she is a film producer. She's also part of the slow fashion world. She's connecting the handcraft, artisan, and heritage, and the importance to continue prevailing the women empowerment through their skills. So tradition, heritage in Latin America must not be forgotten. It has to be empowered through film documentaries, digital content, in order to preserve on culture and sustainable fashion. Same with Rodrigo Müller. He's one of the film producers that have created the first documentary about ethical fashion and craft in Latin America. And he goes and takes us to the journey of the conscious consumer mindset, how in Latin America we need to think. The people right now at the very bottom of the supply chain is the ones that will be suffering the most. That is why we are inviting our local people that it's urgent to consume local fashion. We have the power of the demand. He is also encouraging that we need more than ever to strengthen the made in Latin America. And this is what his focus and his mission and commitment is to Moda Doc America Latina. And last, he leaves the keyword that says, when we help local businesses grow, we grow together. Also, there is Chelsea Basio. She is a Mexican business entrepreneur, and she has a platform promoting emerging designers and craft. And she tells us that the truth is that fashion industry could stop for a year and nothing will change, but except all of us that works in it. She mentions and states the perfect moment of changing the industry is now. So as consumers, we need to stop aspiring to wear a shirt with another famous name and instead also bring back the local designers and encourage more to spend and to value the local and slow fashion and consume in a responsible way.
Okay, Dominica Vintage is my platform of upcycling. I upcycle vintage clothes, and what I see that's happening in these days is that people are more open to collaborations. It's what I had been building since I started with this upcycling brand, because I want to show that it's fashionable to upcycle and to reuse vintage clothes. Then we have Chacaré, which is an Argentinian brand which works with waste. She's reusing plastic bottles, CDs, bags, bicycle tires, and others. And what she sees is that slow fashion is only known by a small group of people. So it's the moment to raise awareness and to use digital visibility to do so. Comas is an interesting example of digital use, because Agustina tells us that when they started with her partner 12 years ago, they were working through Skype, because one was in Uruguay and the other one was in Sao Paulo. So nowadays they have to be again digitally, but for a real need. And what they find that is relevant in this moment is going for the workshops and practices, but online, disseminating their upcycling techniques, because after this period, many of us will have to reuse our own clothes and upcycle, and many brands will have stocks to rematerialize. So that's
So now we have to think together, dear community, dear Global Sustainable Fashion Week family, how can we connect and collaborate digitally at this time? Right now, we have to think as community to co-create and to collaborate together. This is why a Slow Fashion World is offering through their team the collaboration with Sustainable Weeks Going Digital. Our next activity and participation will be the San Francisco Sustainable Fashion Week. The other one is empowering change makers for action. We want to take their stories, we want to take their work, and we want to showcase it. So this is why we're building the stories for impact, because right now the stories matter. The stories matter to keep the motivation and to continue the work towards sustainable fashion. What I would like to invite before ending our talk is to co-create together, to get this ongoing. Thank you to Gabby, thank you to all the organization, because you inspire us to co-create and do our conscious talks going digitally. And let's not forget about something, that we have a deadline. We have to connect each other to each business, to each initiative, and fashion to the Sustainable Development Goals. It's so important, and this is why we are so connected with Sustainable Development Goal 17 and the collaboration for action. So thank you very much for talking to us. Please connect with us. And this is our social media links. We will be showcasing each of these designers, creatives, and change makers through our platforms, and you will be able to hear their audio, their insights about how they are connecting Latin America and the world through sustainable fashion. Don't forget to join the community, and thank you so much again for listening to us.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dominic and Mario. That's a very nice presentation. Thanks for giving the invitation as well. So guys, now I would like to invite Diani Van Dien Hevel, I hope I can read it right now, Creative Director of Infantium Victoria, and talk about the topic is handmade in times of social sustainability.
Hi, thank you.
Hi.
Okay, I'm going to try to shift to sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Share and play. So I found it is everybody seeing the screen? Is all working?
Yes, it's working.
Okay, cool. I found it super nice already. I've been working simultaneously and listening to all the conversations today, and I think it's very inspiring that around the world all these people today are joining minds to exchange. My name is Dini van den Heuvel. I know it's very hard to pronounce for people around the globe, but as mentioned, I've been the creative director of a small children's brand. It's called Infantium Victoria. We are a GOT certified vegan brand for children's wear, and I've been teaching fashion in academies in Europe for the last about 14 years. As many people, I'm also writing a book today. I think it's a topic. We came across with the brand that a lot of young designers are having questions of how to change their business, and we want to help them there. And so, which is mostly my field of expertise. And when I was invited to talk today, I kept on thinking what it is that I find is what I'm noticing the most today. And in Belgium, for the moment, they're talking a lot about that we should buy Belgian. And today we've also been discussing that we should buy local and we should appreciate local design. And I really like these things. And I really appreciate buying from local designers, but at the same time, we're a global society, and I think we should also have appreciation for this. Because the more I think about buying local and local fashion, there's a strange undertone in it for me, in the sense that I really like local made, and I really like handmade and craftsmanship and artisans. But it's kind of ambiguous how we value these things. So I work in Belgium. I have a small team. They're all working from home now. There's about 5 of us. My business partner, Julia, she lives in Germany. We talk digitally all the time, not just now. We make our production partly in Germany, in Portugal, in India, in Spain. We have people altogether, about 450 workers around the world that help us to sew the garments. We know most of them because we keep visiting them, except under these circumstances right now. But besides the people that are sewing our garments, we also work with people that they're in block printing, they're in, I'll just give you a little, this is what the pieces look like that we make. There's a lot of handwork that goes in them, but we work with super skilled people that do natural dyeing, they do block printing, they do, of course, they have wood carvers working for them to facilitate this. We work with handloom weavers, we work with people that gin our cotton, that make our fabrics. Most of them are coming from India, from Greece, from some come from Switzerland. Basically, the list is really long and it crisscrosses around the globe. We try to keep our strains kind of straight, but nevertheless, we work with people all over. And we touch the lives of all these people, and they, I calculated it once, we have at least 3,000 people that directly play a vital role in our brand. That's huge. Now, we don't all have all of these on our payroll, of course, but they work for companies we work with. But still, the common denominator of all these 3,000 people, and I think this is very important, is that more or less they all work with their hands. They nurture the land, they grow the cotton, they gin it, they mill it, they dye it, they print it. They all work with their hands somehow, even if it's cutting, sewing, all of these steps to realize our dreams and to help this brand come to life. And I find that we have gotten really out of touch of how our production works and who all is involved in this production. And it's also kind of made that we lose a lot of respect for those hands that make our clothes. Now, I know that the Fashion Revolution has a great campaign, Who Made Your Clothes, which gives us an understanding that every garment is made by people, because I find it very noticeable that today, a lot of even my friends still think that there are machines where you put something in and all of a sudden a t-shirt comes out. Now, all of you and I know that this is not how fashion is made, quite to the contrary, actually. But there's a lot of reasons why information today is obscured. I mean, 1 out of 8 people supposedly is working in fashion around the world, whether it's fashion, apparel, textiles. And I think that if we can make all these people visible again, then we can see also the countless hours of love that goes into building all these garments. And then we can understand that it's not just a monetary value, but also a social value, which will motivate us to love our clothes longer. So whether this is local right next to me or it's local on the other side of the globe, I really have a hard time understanding what the difference is. Because handmade in Europe, under very particular circumstances, is valued really highly. Couture houses spend a lot of time and a lot of money talking about their petits mains, these women, these magical, mystical people that create their garments manually. And they make us all dream. If you look at social media, it's flooded with all these little beautiful videos of these people in white coats working everywhere. But I see the same love and the same skilled hands and the same technique and the same love for their craft all around the world. Every place I come where people are working in textile, it looks the same. And they have the same kind of knowledge, but we don't value it the same. All these garments that are made for fast fashion, they also are made by people. Those people are not paid properly. I do understand all the problems that we're facing, but I think one of the main concerns I have is that we don't value what these people do. We made a piece completely smocking it by hand. It takes forever. And people seem to value this much more because I can show how we hand smocked it than the t-shirt that was hanging right next to it. Whilst the t-shirt is also, in certain circumstances, you could say handmade. So I think sustainability and sustainable practices is not just about from what you make your products, but also knowing how they were made and giving credit to all these people that help you realize your dreams. And I teach a lot in fashion academies, as I mentioned in the beginning, and I think it's really fascinating what happens there, because we teach people that you have to be able to defend your product, and you have to be able to explain about what it is that you do. Everybody's today talking about how creativity should be used to overcome our global crisis, and that challenges and limitations can push our inspiration and our creativity. And we demand a very high level of creation and of innovation from all our designers that we're training in academies everywhere. And supposedly all this pushing should bring them to new heights of creativity. And so we train them to create and to critically reflect, to innovate, to organize, to communicate about their work, which is very hard. And at the same time, which I think is fascinating, we tell them how to sew. We show them. First year, Fashion Academy, anywhere around the world, we show them how to sew, how to use a machine, how to draft a pattern. We teach them how to manipulate fabrics, how to make, on very crafty ways, new things. And we don't teach them to value it. They are judged on many levels, but not on their sewing skills, because we're not training them to be seamstresses, and not on their pattern making skills, because again, it's not their profession. So we are teaching fashion designers constantly to underappreciate these values and to underappreciate these skills. Without people that possess these skills and actually love them as much to make it their jobs, or because of economic reasons, these are their jobs, we just don't teach these designers to value that appropriately. And I think we should teach them something else, because without these skilled people, there would be no added value to any of the designs. And I can understand that we are talking a lot about how the process can be made more sustainable by implementing a lot more digital skills. In the end, a garment is still a garment, and somebody still needs to sew it. And the people that are sewing it, they are super skilled. They have skilled hands. This machine is useless without them. And I think that's something that we very often overlook. So yeah, today and for the last few weeks, these people that are working everywhere around the globe, or used to be working, because now mostly they're also on a break. I keep thinking of them because we place so little value on their work, and they're so underpaid mostly. They're suffering really, really enormously of what's happening today. And I think if everything today becomes more a vague memory and life becomes more open again, I hope we can look at these people differently and the skills that they have and the contribution that they make. And it's not so much a question of it being local as it being socially responsible, in the sense of we value it differently. I know that time this morning was a huge concern, so I made a summary. I did a longer presentation earlier, which is taped. We have it somewhere. I'm sure we're going to put it on a digital canal. Oh, it's blocking sometimes. We really support the I Made Your Clothes campaign. We always did. And I think it's really important to realize that clothes are not just designed, they're made by many, many, many people. And we keep finding new steps in our value chain and in how our clothes are developed. But we love going to the farmer and to everybody in between that is helping to contribute to what we are realizing. Yeah, thank you for listening. If you have any questions, I'm sure that there's some kind of way you can always reach out to me. But thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, how do I stop share? There we go.
Very beautiful presentation, Ginny. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Natalie, hello.
Hi, Dini. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's a very good point of view. Yeah, that's a very good issue to raise. As if we have all these holy ideas and very holy designers, and of course then brands just come and
I find it very
lose all the holiness. Yeah, yeah. So it's not only about craftsmanship and individual craftsmanship-based brands. It's about all the people who touch the garment.
Yeah, and especially in high street brands, there are so many people working behind that very often have a love for what they do.
And
Every
skill.
time, and skill, but also love. In India, every time I visit the factory, these people have a choice. They are working in textile by choice. They work in GOT certified factories, which of course is something else than regular factories. But for the moment, there's a bigger demand for workers than there is a supply of skilled people. So these people can choose where they work and they understand that they have a skill. But they love their job and they're really passionate about it. And they all have a specific expertise that they're using. And I found that we just don't value it sufficiently.
And this is at the time when in Europe, we are complaining that we don't have skilled people who can sew, that we forgot that. Not yet in Russia, but in Europe, we can't find people to sew clothes.
Yes, but at the same time in India, they're also getting a harder time to find skilled people because the job is undervalued. So you don't wake up one day in Europe and as a child and say, my fantasy dream job later on is to be a seamstress. It's not sexy anymore as a profession and it's really undervalued.
With this crisis now, hopefully that we start valuing people that are now, we're all inside. Outside we have bus drivers, we have supermarket salespeople. Here in Germany, I love that they don't even put the masks on, not to scare the ones that come shopping. That's very brave. Then we have people who are cleaning the streets. Sometimes the only noise I hear from outside is the shrubs cutting guy. He's there every morning, the Hausmeister. And these are the jobs we dismiss. Like, we don't dream about them. These are the real jobs that keep us alive and sane.
Yeah.
So a lot of reevaluation will come.
I hope so.
Yeah, we hope so.
I mean, we try with the brand. We have videos and little documentaries of all the people that work for us, because every time we go to visit the factories, we interview them and we film them, and we go to the farms and we go to the dyeing houses. We just got in touch with a natural dyeing house in the south of India, which is completely Ayurvedic, which amazing. Whenever it will reopen, we are so looking forward to seeing what they're making. We gave them an idea and we gave them creative freedom to interpret it, and we're very excited to see what will happen. And we try to really put focus on these people that without them our brand would look very different. I know how many garments I can sew in a day, not that many. So yeah,
thank you. Beautiful.
Thank you so much. Fawad, are you here or should I moderate it? Fawad? Okay, so I would like to floor to Anna Iona. I give the floor to Anna Iona. Yesterday we saw a very nice film about her brand, the Wielding Shoes. And just now she would like to give some presentation about her brand. Hello.
Hello, thank you very much. Let me try to share the screen. I hope you can all see this. Is this okay? Okay, well, thank you first of all for this really great opportunity to meet up despite the situation and to talk to each other and to reach out to each other. I'm very moved to be able to be here and to share some thoughts with you. Our presentation was supposed to be on building a remote team. So in this situation that we have at the current moment, this actually became more of a current pressing issue than it was when I wanted to speak about it first. Because many people find themselves suddenly at home, working from home, trying to communicate with their team members, and trying to keep it all together. So we've been doing this for quite a while. So I just want to share with you how this works for us, how we keep our team together despite everybody working from home. And yeah, just wanted to give you a short insight, and I'm hoping that it can actually help with some of the problems that some of you might be facing at the moment. So just a short introduction. What we do at Wildling is that we create, design minimal shoes. We want to make shoes that are as little shoe as possible in order to make you feel like as if you were barefoot wherever you go. So we use sustainable materials, lots of them like coming from nature. We use as little material as possible, and we make these shoes so light and so flexible that you will really hardly feel them when you wear them. We sell mainly online. We have a few first stores that obviously were closed or are closed at the moment, but we continue to sell online. And this is one of the few images that we have where we have quite a few team members on one picture. And this is due to the fact that most of us work from home. We have a team. We grew quite quickly as a company. We founded in 2015, and we're 135 people. So we have a few people working on our product that meet up in the studio on a quite regular basis, because obviously we're working on products, we're checking out materials, we're doing designs. So this is where people actually come together and meet to work on the product design and development. We have our own logistics. So here we have like 30 people working in the warehouse, sending out our shipments, taking in the returns, and this obviously also is a place where people have to be there physically in order to work together. But like 100 people in our team are constantly working from home. So they're working from their homes all over Germany, some of them even outside of Germany. And our company grew like that. The reason was that when we founded, I had 3 small children and I had to put in a lot of working hours a week. So it was easier for me to do this and still, you know, be a mom and be here for my kids when working from home. It was a lot easier, just a lot more flexible. So when we started employing other people, we started employing them from home. So this kind of grew, and then we saw that there were some issues with it, and we found some good ways in order to deal with it, and that's what I would like to share with you. When I talk to people about the way we work, one of the most frequent questions people ask me is, how do you know your people are actually working when they're sitting at home? And that kind of like has a sense of or an understanding of work that is very similar to how we used to work back in the old days, how we used to work when people mainly went to factories or into production. So we think that if somebody is present somewhere, the more hours he can put in or she can put in, the more productivity will come out on the other end. And that's just no longer true today. And the same thing is that we think that if we control people, if we know where they are at, if we know that they are sitting in the office next to us, then there will be results. And also that no longer is true, I believe. Because people nowadays, people want to work when a few things are part of their workday. So I think people really enjoy their work when they are granted autonomy, like when they're really able to work by themselves, like when they can control their own work environment. They will love to work when they can grow in line with their strengths, like when they can have some personal development. And also something that is really important is that people want to see purpose in their work. They want to know why they're doing something. So if I can give people these few things, if I can give them an answer to the question of why they're doing what they're doing, like why is our company doing what it's doing? What is our vision? Why am I doing what I'm doing every day? If I can have some added value in what I do, and if I can have some transparency, so I know why the company wants to do certain things or why we have certain company goals, and that's already a very important part. The next thing is that people want to develop, like they want to master something that they have a personal strength in. So for us, the question is not really what are you really good at doing, but what gives you back energy? I mean, what do you love doing? What do you love doing so much that you love to get up every morning and you're like looking forward to go to work, because that thing that you're doing really plays into your strength. So our question as a team is, how can we help people to continuously develop their personal strength in terms of what gives them back energy, and how can we make space for people to kind of develop in that way? And the third thing is that people, I think many people, most people really love to work autonomously. Like they love, I mean, they need from us to be given trust. We need to trust them to do their work. and then we can hand them over the independence and also flexibility of working the way they want to work. So at Wildling, we found a few ways to make this work. I mean, we need trust, so we can hand over autonomy. We need to allow people to develop according to their strengths, so we can have some mastery in some topics. And we need to know why we're doing things, so we need to see a purpose in the way we work. And those three things, if I get them together, then people really have a sense of intrinsic motivation. And the moment people get motivated and they really want to work, I don't need to worry about whether they will be working, because they will be working. The problem will be to stop them so they won't be working too much, but that's a wholly different thing. So we found some things that really help us make this possible in a team. We need structure and alignment. Like, it's always, when you say you have a remote team and you're doing new work methods and practices, you grant a lot of freedom and flexibility. Doesn't mean that this is chaos. It doesn't mean that this is like, that nobody knows what the other person is doing. Everybody's just doing what they think they should do. I think, on the contrary, you need a lot of structure and alignment in order to make this possible. So what we found for ourselves as a company was that we said we need a vision. Like, why do we do this? Like, what is the important thing? So we got the team together, we gathered together like in a real life meeting, and we said, okay, what is the vision? Like, what is Wildling all about? And we said, okay, we want to make shoes that allow people to move better with them, that make for more like more free and natural movement. But we also want to move something in their heads. We don't just want to move the feet. So we are about finding better ways to work sustainably. We're about finding more innovative ways to work together. We're about fairness. Like, how can we really create a fair relationship with everyone we work together with? So in order to inspire people along these things and to kind of inspire each other, something like we're all doing here today. So that's part of the vision of what we want to do. We want to form a movement of many people, like doing many, many small steps, so we can really together create a movement. So we have that vision, and then we define our values that really help us define how we want to work, like what is important for us. And especially in a situation that is more complex, how can we take the right decision? So that's what our values are there for. So we have the vision that's kind of the North Star and that's guiding us. We have the values that are also like the guidelines at the sides that help us take the right decisions, even in a complex situation. And then the third thing, and that's maybe also the most important thing for people who are suddenly like find themselves in a remote setup with their team, is that we focus on results in the way we work together as a team. For us, it doesn't matter the place you work at, it doesn't matter the time that you put in, it matters only the result that we get together. So we commit to a few goals each quarter of the year. And these are the company goals, and then everybody kind of chips in and says what they can do in their specific line of work to help all of us as a team achieve those goals. And then it's very simple, because you know where you want to get to. You also know why you want to get there. And if we focus only on the results, we can hand over like maximum freedom and flexibility within that time. So that really works well for us. So if somebody finds themselves right now in a way that they need to work together remotely, I think it can really help to establish some goals with the team. Like, it can be even short term for the next week or for the next 2 weeks, and then to hand that over and to let people run and trust them. So there are a lot of opportunities in this way of working, also for brands to work together, for small teams, for big teams. Like, we have a lot of freedom and flexibility, especially for people that have a family. This is a really great way to kind of combine family and career, but also to combine your personal lifestyle with your career. Like, some people don't want to work more than 30 hours a week, and that should be fine. Some people want to work 35 hours. Some just want to work half a day. And this should be, I think companies should be flexible enough to offer people that wish. So yes, there are a lot of opportunities, especially for young families, but there are also some risks. And the risks lie in the constant availability. Like, we're always reachable, you know, we always have our phone or the computer on the desktop. we have the chance to blend work and life, but that also has some risk in it, because we can easily, we don't stop working because it's always there, we're always available. And then we start multitasking, which is really, really difficult. Like, you cook supper for your child, you're helping somebody else with their homework, and then at the same time you're answering an email on your phone, and that just will kill you after a while. So we have a few rules to help us not get into these risks, and to make people not burn out because they're always available, and also to offer them some space for really deep and concentrated work. So that it's just some really clear rules. You only check your inbox once a day. You only check your Slack, which we use for our communication inside the team 2 to 3 times a day. If you're on holidays or if you're sick, you put this in your status. And if you show up online, then people will just send you right back into your free time. If something is very urgent, we just pick up the phone so we can make sure that nobody has to check their notifications all the time. And the same thing goes for deep work. Some people find it really easy to work in this constant communication. They have notifications popping up here and emails there. They have a call and a meeting, and they hop back from one to the other. And other people, especially people that work in a more creative way, they need a few hours of quiet time to really focus on their work, to get into the flow, to really, start working concentratedly. So there, it's very important that these people can work in that way, and they should just block themselves those hours in the calendar. Maybe shove all the meetings to 1 day a week, and then you have your time to work. If that's in the morning, if that's in the evening, you can choose. But that will be your time that you really go offline. You don't answer anything. You just sit there and you work. So once you have these few things in place, like you have a vision, values, you have your result-orientated management, that you can commit to certain goals, and then you have a few rules that you work by, then really setting up a remote team is a fantastic way to grant your team a lot of freedom and flexibility, and also as a company to really scale easily and with a very, very committed team. So that's our experience that I wanted to share, and I hope it was helpful for those who find themselves in that situation at the moment.
Thank you very much, Anna. It's a very nice presentation. And dear all participants, if you have any question, you can ask on the chat box, and Anna will reply. Please check your chat box as well regularly.
Sorry,
so now I would like to invite Bab Taylor, founder and conscious creative of the eco-sustainable luxury brand, Bab Taylor, and to talk on focus your inner ecology to nature, the environment around you. So please welcome Bab Taylor. Bab, you are here?
Yep, I'm here. I don't know if anyone can see me.
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Yep.
Anna, please. Yeah, fine.
Okay.
Hey, welcome.
So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And let me just try and get my screen up. Can you see the presentation?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so I would like to commence my presentation focusing on a few words in regards to our inner ecology. I think we're all in the right situation to really take some time out and work on ourselves. So not just worry about what's happening at work, what's happening in the outside world, but really take this time on really discovering who we are, let's say. So focus your inner ecology to nurture the environment around you. So one of my great inspirers, Sadhguru, has said that in today's world, most people have forgotten the connection between themselves and everything around them. If we realize this interdependence between the human and cosmic body, then we will have no choice but to wake up and take action to save our planet from impending disaster. So inner ecology focuses on the mind, so all our thoughts, the emotions, what we feel, and our spirit, so the essence of who we really are. If we try to understand our elemental connection with the environment, we can create a stable base for ourselves that empowers us to explore higher possibilities and live in a more sustainable manner, both mentally and physically. So inner ecology starts with your personal journey, which can expand into creating your ecological impact. And this presentation is just a very small overview of my journey. So I'd like to start with. Oops, sorry. So my project rests upon three main pillars: the Sustainability 360-degree Manifesto, wellness in terms of inner ecology, and I create transversal products, so products that are made for a generationless client. So launched in 2015, my conscious project was created for the individual who appreciates effortless design, quality, as well as the ethically conscious generationless consumer who has a new set of priorities, focusing on wellness, convenience, both social and environmental awareness. This wellness project arises from the need to create garments with natural, recycled, and sustainable materials through transparent production processes, while manifesting the need for individuals to think ethically and reduce their ecological footprint. Therefore, the ideology of less is more. So when I launched my project, I created this 360-degree manifesto, which starts with the brand ethos. So the mantra of my brand is respect your body plus your sphere. The conscious design, so all of my pieces are designed digitally. I would say during the sampling phase, 70% of my pieces are made directly into the finished sample. So I avoid trying to make prototypes or 1 or 2 or 3 samples, which just create excess product for no reason. Then all of my materials range from certified materials, recycled materials, so for example post-waste materials including rose petal eco cotton, post-waste recycled fish skin, recycled leaves, to milk waste and bio silks, eco linens, etc. My production is all ethically made, 100% in Italy, to avoid, because I'm based, I'm from Indian origin, but I'm based in between London and Milan. So it made more sense for me at this stage to support the local production. That's why I chose Made in Italy. I try within my brand, in regards to the production, the communication, marketing, whatever it may be, to be as transparent and responsible as possible. in terms of the social contribution. So proceeds of my sales go towards social causes, which I'll explain later on. The inner awareness, so the inner ecology that I spoke about beforehand. And finally, just spreading the manifesto. So like I am here today, just spreading what I'm doing and hoping that it inspires other people to do the same. So I'm part of Positive Luxury, where I was awarded the Butterfly Mark for a company-wide commitment to sustainability. So please feel free to look at their website or my website to establish what these certifications mean. When I launched the project in 2015, this was also when the UN Sustainability Development Goals were presented. So here are a few goals that I try to focus on. Obviously, my endeavor is to try and do my bit for all of the 12 goals. So in terms of goal 1, no poverty, I support communities in need by providing excess clothes and shoes, whatever they may require. Goal 5, gender equality. So I've created a few pieces which have become genderless. Even though it is a women's wear product, it's so nice to have so many men that do ask me if I can produce pieces for them, or when I'm going to launch a menswear collection. So I try to create genderless pieces, but also support gender equality through my communication and the team that I select. Goal 2, zero hunger. So I try to support the poor by physically making trips to feed the poor. Goal 6, clean water and sanitation. So I support organizations such as water.org that provide water and sanitation to underprivileged communities. Goal 14, life below water. I'm a member of the Big Blue Ocean Project, which supports the cleanup of our oceans around the world. I try to adhere to towards creating a circular economy model in my company. So, for example, maintain the use of its resources for as much and as long as possible. So I have activities such as reutilizing fabrics in stock and upcycling these to create new garments. My materials are easily recyclable, especially as natural fibers are not mixed with any synthetics. I would say, let's say 70 to 80% of my collection are natural fibers. If I do use synthetic materials, there's always a certification in terms of sustainability behind it. So for example, I use recycled polyester made from recycled plastic bottles. I extract the most use from each of my garments, so even the samples that I create are sold or loaned for rent. In the future, when I will be able to have the possibility to open up a store, I would like to provide a return clothes policy to the clients and incentivize them by providing them a discount code or a gift. I recover and regenerate the products and the materials that have reached the end of their life cycle. So activities such as reusing the patterns and garments in new collections to create waste and developing prototypes and new clothes.
Let me get, I got a better song. Hold
up. Okay, I think someone's got their microphone on. Okay, so.
In that north part, trying to look rich. Could have bought an ass for my motherfucking bitch. Free Santana say she gon' empty out the clip.
Can the hosts throw this one out?
I won't never flip the page, bitch. I'm sticking to the script. All these niggas lame like a Bitch, I'm half your fucking
Remove
age.
trolls from the conference.
I remove it. I remove it.
Okay, thank you. So the market trend has the sustainability trend begun? I think now we're really in the decade where we can see through this chart that the word sustainability is really on trend. So it's great for brands such as myself and those presenting today and throughout these 2 days, that it's really our moment to focus and showcase who we really are. Unfortunately, there is a lot of greenwashing there, so it's important that we educate our customers to make sure that we remain authentic and tell our story. There was a report done which states that department stores are purchasing on average 23% of sustainable products, and within the next 5 years this is likely to increase to 40%. So it's a very encouraging statistic for us. And I would like to finish with a quote by Pablo Neruda, Keeping Quiet, which discusses the need of maintaining peace and silence. He stresses upon being quiet and harmless to human beings, animals, and the environment around us. He suggests that in order to maintain peace and harmony, it is required to stop and introspect ourselves. Now we will count to 12, and we will all keep still. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for a second and not move our arms so much. It would be an exotic moment, without rush, without engines. We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would not look at his hurt hands. Those who prepare green wars with gas,